Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here tonight. My name is Sherry Moore, and my family and I live in Jefferson. My husband and I have 2 children. We have a daughter who is grown and married, and a son who is a 10th grader. This will be a 10th grader this fall at Jefferson High School. I'm currently the chief clerk in the probate court of Clark County, and I've worked there for 10 years. Prior to that, I have over 20 years of experience working in law offices where I've assisted attorneys in various legal matters and probate-related matters. Probate court is sometimes known as the people's court. Most people will come through probate court at some point in their life. We handle marriage and firearms licenses. You might also come through probate court to handle guardianship of an adult, an elderly relative, or to settle a loved one's estate. Because there's so many specialized areas of law in the probate court, it is really important to have someone who is familiar with probate court and has worked in the probate court. Not only have I worked in the probate court, but I've handled my grandparents' estates and helped care for them at the end of their life. So I'm familiar with the areas of law that I'm familiar with being on the other side of the court, not just working in the court. I have compassion for the difficult situations that come before a probate judge. This experience has given me personal knowledge of how it feels to be in the court system and assist the public. Most importantly, I'm the only candidate who has worked in the probate court. Over the years, I've attended both probate court clerks and judges training that is presented by the Probate Judges Training Council, and the council has asked me several times to present at the training to my peers. As chief clerk in Clark County, I've worked directly under Judge Tate, and I have had the privilege of sitting in on many probate trials. I have helped with Cub Scouts as my son was coming up in the Cub Scouts and also in the Boy Scouts in Jefferson, and have assisted with as being an achievement coordinator and helping in any way I can through the Boy Scout group. I have spent every day of my working career the last 10 years in probate court. I know the procedures. I have sat in on hearings. I have assisted the public. I've handled mental health cases, which are very difficult. I have assisted families who are trying to send someone for an evaluation, who are trying to send grandmama to a nursing home because she has dementia. I have worked with families who are fighting over an estate, and so I have that unique experience of having handled every type of matter that is handled in the probate court. I've had training. I've been to training, as I mentioned earlier, through the Probate Judges Council, and they've done a great job at keeping the clerks and the judges trained as the laws change, and so I have participated as much as I've been able, and again, as I mentioned earlier, I have also taught that training. Professionalism and experience are very important qualities for a probate judge. I have over 10 years of experience in the probate court, and I have experience, and I have a reputation for being very professional with the public. I have had compliments from the public in the past. A judge has received compliments from the public on how I've handled them, how professional I was, how much easier I made a difficult process. Compassion is also very important. You're generally dealing with people who are in crisis. It's important to understand what they're going through. And as I mentioned earlier, not only have I been through this on a personal level with my grandparents and dealt with some of those very same issues, but I've been on the court side of it and see the turmoil that the families are in most of the time when they come in our office. Finally, I think dedication and training is very important. I'm very dedicated to my job. I'm passionate about the probate court. It is a very important and vital court. It is very different from any of the other courts that are in the system because of the types of law we deal with. And it is very important that we have training and you're familiar with the different areas of law. Every area of law that we handle in probate court is different and have different requirements. And in the years that I have been in probate court, I have learned to learn the different types of services required and very familiar with the procedures. And so those would be my top three. I think the biggest concern I have about that would be whether or not there would be funding available to pay for that service. Equipment would be necessary, and that all costs money. Certainly if the commission were willing to work with my office, if elected, to provide the equipment necessary, I'd be more than happy to provide that service to the public. Absolutely, it is a full-time position, and I would resign from my position in the Clark County Probate Court and take the position full-time, and that would, between that and raising my son, I think that'll take up all my time. Out of the 159 counties in the state of Georgia, less than 20 counties have probate judges who are attorneys. In fact, attorney judges are only required in counties where the population exceeds 96,000. I've gained invaluable experience the past 10 years working in probate court. Not only am I familiar with the laws and procedures that we deal with on a daily basis, but I've also assisted in preparing office budgets and routinely participate in budget meetings. If elected, I would not want to be a short-term judge. I have at least 20 years or 5 terms available to serve the citizens of Jackson County, and I would ask for your vote on July 31st.